Hello and welcome back to the EyeStorm Live Lounge, where we talk about current topics for women all around the globe. My name is Elfverson. I'm the creator of EyeStorm. I'm also the founder of the Vlog Academy, and I'm also the UK chair of the G100 Media Arts and Communication. And today we are going to talk about Girls Love to Fart. Well, this is one of the books Alice Clover has written on the topic of girls love to. And it's actually based on quite a serious matter that we need to discuss more. So that's why she's come in to join me today for the conversation about her books. So thank you so much for joining me, Alice.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So what is the background to these books, Alice? How did the Girls Love To series come about?
So the Girls Love To series is something that I wanted to work on for quite a long time, because when I was at university I did gender studies for my elective for the first 2 years, and I've also been very passionate about the suffragette movement and women's and girls' rights in general. But it wasn't until I had my own daughters that I started writing, and then the Girls Love To series came out from that, because I wanted to write books that encourage girls to feel good about themselves, their bodies and their bodily functions. Because for me, I feel like as a feminist, our bodily functions haven't really been addressed. I mean, we talk about our periods, but we don't really talk about anything else. And the term ladylike is often used, maybe not so much now, but the whole connotation with it is that we have to behave in a certain way. And I think that makes us ashamed of our bodies and our bodily functions and what our bodies do. When babies are small, they are praised for pooing, weeing, burping, farting, everything. And then there's this bit in between where we're told that we mustn't talk about that and that somehow it's wrong. But actually it then leads on to a whole load of issues, physical issues, mental health issues, emotional issues. The amount of women in the world who won't fart in front of their partner or hold their farts in, they don't want to talk about their bowel movements and don't realise how important it is. I mean, there's the poo charts for a reason, so that we know when we poo, if it's actually healthy or not, because we might not be drinking enough water, we might not be eating enough healthy foods. Society talks about stretch marks and blemishes and how to get back into your bikini after having a baby and all of that, but they don't talk about what actually goes on inside. And I feel like with the Girls Love To series, I want to be able to help children understand why the body does what it does, so that as they grow older they can understand and accept that, and then when their body goes through any changes they can take notice of that, and if they feel they need to go and seek medical advice or get some support in any way, then they have that confidence to do it, rather than feeling embarrassed, not wanting to speak up, not feeling sure of themselves. And I know in some cultures it's still very much something that mustn't be talked about.
Even here in the UK, we don't really talk about it. So of course it's going to be difficult in other cultures too. But you're doing such an amazing job, Alice, reaching out to younger audiences and opening up for this difficult topic, or taboo topic really. So tell me a bit more about the other books, what they are called and what they're about.
Okay, so I have a best-selling book called Girls Love to Fart, which is all about girls farting in different places. It's a rhyming story, and then at the end it says that everyone farts and there's no need to feel ashamed, because for me growing up it was never a shameful thing. In fact, it was considered quite amusing at home, and we have always done it openly. But I know a lot of women and girls don't do it and then hold it in, and that again leads to health problems. And as well as that, it's very uncomfortable.
So where do you think all this is stemming from, that girls need to be perfect and not have any sounds or noise or weirdness coming out of them, that they're just on a pedestal like an object? Where does this all stem from, do you think?
Well, for me, I think it stems from this whole ladylike concept, because girls and women have always, throughout time, apart from when they were hunter-gatherers and leaders of the pack and everything, it's been a gradual societal way of oppressing women, so that we have to fit in this tiny little box, and if we do anything that is outside of that, then we're considered to be rebels or abnormal or speak too much, we're bossy, all that kind of negative information that we're constantly bombarded with. And if we don't have the perfect body that society considers to be the perfect body, then we are some kind of freak. And I think that having that limited option for so many of us, it is a big issue when it comes to things like bodily function. So we can encourage children to accept, because a lot of the time children still say, oh, I didn't know that girls farted, or I didn't know that girls pooed, or I didn't know that girls burped. They have this message all the time, and that's what they genuinely believe. And also my daughter, when she was 3, it was the first time that I wrote Girls Love to Fart, and I had it on my iPad, and I would read it to her, but she would have a big tantrum about it because she didn't think that girls farted, because she had been told by someone else that they don't. And obviously at that age they take everything literally. And I thought, well, this definitely needs to be addressed, because telling children that they can't do something that is natural to them, it leads to so many other issues throughout their life. And that's what I want the Girls Love to movement to help, so that children don't have these hang-ups about themselves. They're less likely to need to go on diets. They're less likely to feel so self-conscious about their bodies and their bumps, lumps, marks, scars, bruises, anything, so that they can just embrace the fact that their body is what it is. They don't need to feed into this multi-billion-dollar industry that is all about making women feel ashamed of themselves.
I'm curious about your books. Have they been translated and sold in other countries?
They are sold everywhere. They're available everywhere. They haven't been translated yet, partly because they're rhyming, and sometimes it's quite difficult to translate rhyme. But I would really love them to be translated, and I'm open to them being in as many languages as possible. I mean, all of the pictures inside are inclusive, and I just want every child to have access, because it's not, even though it's Girls Love to, it's not just for girls. Some of my biggest fans are boys. In fact, one of the boys that is a real big fan of mine said next time I see him, he wants me to sign the books for him.
Yeah, of course, boys need to understand this too. It's really lovely that this boy is reaching out to you. So is there some sort of a transition period ahead of us, do you think, where we need to do these things with a little bit of an excuse? How do you do it and your girls? Is there like a little pardon me attached to it?
I mean, if you're going to do it, then just own up to it and say, oh, I've just farted, or I've just burped, or but at the same time, like, sometimes my daughters will burp mid-sentence and they'll just carry on talking. And I don't feel like they need to apologise for that, because they're just talking and suddenly a burp comes out. It's not really a massive deal. Obviously, if they were going to do a stinky burp or a really stinky fart or something, then yeah, it's good to acknowledge it.
I've been to countries where it is actually okay to burp after a meal. You show your appreciation that you're full. But for me, I didn't grow up with that at all. It was very non-etiquette to burp or fart out loud. Very embarrassing, actually. So maybe I need to work a little bit on my attitude towards this.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've not always been comfortable with burping. Farting is something I've not really been that bothered about, but burping, I've struggled with myself, which is partly why I've written Girls Love to Burp, because I want to normalise that too.
So Girls Like to Fart, that's the most popular title, is it?
Girls Love to Fart is the most popular one, yeah. It really took off, and I was amazed at how well received it was, because some of the initial reviews, when I asked people what they thought of the title Girls Love To, the fact that it said love in it, that caused quite a big stir, and people were saying, oh, girls like to fart, or girls fart too, and I really wanted it to make an impact. So I thought the word love really makes an impact.
This is really powerful stuff, Alice. How many books have you published now?
So I've got 4 books out. The first one is about my daughters playing on a sandy beach, and I don't really talk about that one much because it was kind of an initial experiment between myself and my illustrator. And then we started working on the Girls Love To series together. But I've also got another book called Princesses Don't Have Stinky Bums, and the don't is crossed out, and my daughter came up with the title. That is illustrated by a different illustrator. And actually that one's been well received. And someone said on a networking call that I was on, this was a man, he said that whenever he brings up the book with female friends, they all get uncomfortable talking about it, because it brings up issues that people don't want to talk about, people don't want to acknowledge. And that's why I think it's important to acknowledge them, because we can't just continue not talking about them, but also having such negative feelings about ourselves and our bodies, and then seeking outside support because we don't feel good enough all the time, and feeding into this industry.
Do you want to tell us what the next title is?
I've been working on Girls Love to ABC, which is all about different things that girls love to do. That's not all just about bodily functions. It's just in general what girls love to do, but quite often are not encouraged to do.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Alice, and coming on the interview. Girls Love to Fart, Burp and ABC. So how can people reach you and follow you if they're interested?
So on LinkedIn, I'm Alice Clover. On Facebook, I'm Alice Clover Stories. On Instagram, I'm Alice Clover Stories, and also Girls Love To magazine.
And a whole new platform coming up called Girls Love To, I understand.
Yeah, it's early stages. I'm working on that, but I've recently changed the Instagram account just to so that no one else can have it.
Thank you so much, Alice, for joining me in the live lounge, and thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more upcoming content. If you're curious about EyeStorm, you can find more information on the website, which is www.eyestorm.org.uk, but we'll be back with more soon. I'll see you then.
Thank you.